Paranormal Activity 2. I have it right here on Blu-ray, the Blu-ray DVD, digital copy, unrated director's cut, which includes 2 versions. Nice. This is the sequel that everyone was anticipating. Even me. I stated that, Paranormal Activity should have been its own film. I think that now. When I first saw the movie, I enjoyed it. I was creeped out. Heard they were making a second one. And I was pretty excited. A lot of people were hyped. And they marketed it, kind of like they did with the first movie. Not as much as the first movie, but they did market it with the scary audience reactions and stuff like that. Here's the thing. It had a bigger budget. A little bit bigger, I guess, of a movie. It just had more cameras. That's it. It had like, what, a $3 million budget and made $177 million at the box office. So it didn't make quite as much as the first movie. But it's the same thing. This movie didn't take no risks. The story is okay, even though I prefer Katie's story than Christie's, because that's what this movie focuses on, is Christy, Katie's younger sister. But again, this is a 2010 American found footage supernatural horror film. This time directed by Todd Williams, and Oren Peli, of course, is the producer. I can't even say her name. What is her name? It's like Sprague Graydon or something. The girl who plays Christy, I cannot pronounce her name. She's got a weird name. But anyway, she did a lot of television. If you go on her, I think it's her IMDb, she has like a lot of credits. But you got Brian Bolin, who I believe he plays the husband. Then you got the girl Molly Ephraim. I guess that's how you say it. She's from Last Man Standing. I cannot stand her in this movie. All she does is say, "I think that would be so awesome. That would be so cool if we could just have a seance. I mean, that would be so awesome." God, I don't even watch Last Man Standing, okay? I watched Home Improvement. Nothing against Tim Allen, but that show ain't got nothing on Home Improvement. I'm sorry. Even though I haven't seen it, I still can say that. But she's in that show, and, I just know her from this. But she was very annoying. Mika Sloat has I want to say kind of a cameo in this movie. And Katie even appears in this movie, and she appears a lot. I actually wasn't expecting her to appear as much as she did. I thought it was just going to be a small little thing with Katie, but no, she is in and out of this movie. Like, she'll be there, and then she won't be. Then she'll be there, and she won't be. It was really nice having her in the movie, because I find her story just more intriguing. Even though they're sisters, and it's kind of the same story because they grew up together. But now that they're adults, I don't know. I just found the first movie to have a better story, I guess. But this is a prequel and a sequel, but more of a prequel. It begins 2 months before the events of the first movie. So a lot of time passes because you have Christy with her husband, and they just had a baby. And they called the baby Hunter, which has a significant role in the sequels. But, the girl that's there, played by Molly, the annoying one, that is the daughter of, the guy, the husband, the father. So that's his daughter, and, something tragic happened to their mother. She passed away, and so, now she has a new stepmother, Christy. But again, Christy has I want to say kind of a tragic backstory. They don't really get into that in this film. They don't really dive into Christie's story. All she, there's a scene where she's looking at pictures. She starts looking at pictures and she looks at some of these pictures. She's like, "Oh, I thought we lost some of these in the fire." Like, we don't get any backstory because Katie pretty much told us the backstory. But I wanted to hear more from Christie. Like, I wanted to hear more about her. We didn't really get any of that. She had the baby, and then it would, focus on other things with the husband, and then the daughter in her room painting her nails, and then he goes in there and is like, shuts off the light. She's like, "Dad, could you stop it, please? Like, stop it." The dialogue was cringy at times. It just didn't, to me, it just wasn't interesting. I didn't care about the whole family. I just wanted to know about Christie and even Katie when Katie showed up. That, to me, that was the most interesting thing. So filming was finished in 3 weeks. It took 3 weeks to film this. And it broke the record of the highest, it broke the record of the biggest midnight gross for an R-rated film with $6.3 million. Because, people were anticipating it. But again, there's nothing new here. It's the same formula with these films. You set up a camera, you try to catch something, you hear noises, things start moving, someone gets possessed or dragged down the hall, and there you have your film. Really, the only thing I can say that's different about this movie is that they added more cameras. So instead of the camera in the bedroom, they added more cameras in each room. There's a camera in the baby's room looking down at the crib. There's a camera looking at the stairway and the front door. There's a camera in the kitchen looking at the stove. There's cameras everywhere. There's even a camera out by the pool. And in this movie, when it would go to night 1, night 2, night 3, it would show each room. It would cycle through each room, and it would start with a pool. It was the most annoying thing. Why show the pool? There's one thing they tried to show that the pool cleaner got out of the pool all by itself, like something was doing this and took it out of the pool. Why? So you're telling me the demon, why would the demon want to go out to the pool and grab the pool cleaner and take it out of the pool? To me, that's the stupidest. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Like, why would he do that? It don't make sense. Like, "Oh, I'm going to get these guys. I'm going to take this pool cleaner out." There's nothing scary about this one. This one, to me, really had no effect on me. I thought I've seen it before. They just executed it better in the first film. The addition of the dog and the baby was a good addition because they made the dog bark in certain cases when the demon would be around. It's like he sensed him. And the dog would always protect the baby. There's the image right there of the dog barking at something that's in that bathroom, and then there's the baby standing up. And the baby would always look at something and kind of laugh and giggle and cry in certain spots and like look at stuff. That was really good. I really liked that dynamic because it really showed that they were creative in that way. Other than that, there's nothing really to talk about here. Other than, they have the baby. They come home one day and their house is trashed. They get out the camera, they start recording that the house is trashed. The only room that was not trashed was Hunter's room, the baby's room. And there's a reason for that. So that's when they decide to get cameras all over the house. They didn't get cameras to catch a demon or a ghost. They get the cameras to basically have security because there was a break and they thought maybe there were robbers. The funny thing is, all they did was go around and look at everything that's damaged, but nothing was taken. Everything was just damaged. So they put up the cameras. Each night stuff starts getting worse. And it's not just Christy that's noticing these things. It's the daughter, the stepdaughter. She starts noticing things. And the dad is just walking around like, oh, what? Like, you know, it's like he don't believe it until he finally, at the end of the movie, he starts to believe. Things start getting worse. The housekeeper even starts to realize that there's something wrong. It's like the dad is retarded. Like, I don't even know what he's doing. Like, everyone else notices this but him. It's like he's in denial, like Mika. He's another Mika, basically. They do the whole thing with the shadow, you know, the dark figure, you know, the doors opening. There is one scene that got me, though. It was more of a jump scare where Christy's sitting at the kitchen table or the counter looking at her magazine, and there's cabinets all over. All of a sudden, she just sits there and she's like, something's not right. Every door of the cabinet space opens at once. You're talking like 15 cabinet doors just boom, just open all at once, and she screams. That was probably the only time I jumped. I was not expecting that at all. That was, in my opinion, that's how you do a jump scare. You work up to it. And it wasn't expected. A lot of these jump scares nowadays are expected. You can predict when it's going to happen. That point, I didn't predict it. But again, there's stuff we've seen before. You know, things start getting worse every night. Christy, she gets dragged down the hall. But only this time, she escapes being dragged, and then it goes after her again and drags her down the stairs. It didn't affect me. It didn't affect me like it did here. The camera angles was much better. It was creepier. It drags her downstairs, and then she gets possessed. So now we have Christy who's possessed. So where have we seen this before? Oh, that's right. Here. So Christy gets possessed. She gets bit, just like Katie got bit. But Christy gets bit on her leg. And remember, this happens before the first movie. So technically, Christy got possessed first. So now the dad finally believes it. They call the housekeeper back and they decide they know how to get rid of the demon. Because she's religious, I guess, and she knows how to do it. So to get rid of the demon, what you have to do is you have to find a picture of a family member or loved one, set it on fire, say some kind of prayer or whatever that is, and what that does is you're sending the demon to that person. You're basically making it leave where it is to go to somewhere else. But it has to be a family member. So they find a picture of Katie. And it's the same picture that Katie and Mika, well actually Mika finds it in the attic. It's the burnt picture that they find in the attic in this film. And Katie's like, where did you get this? She's like, there's no way that this exists. Everything burned up in the fire. Well, that's why the picture looked burned. It wasn't because of the fire at the house. It was because they burned a picture of Katie, that same picture, and that's the reason why the demon moved from Christy to Katie. So, we find out why the events of Paranormal Activity 1 happen. It's because of what happens here. And it's all because of the husband. The stepdaughter, I will give her one thing. She didn't want to send the demon off to Katie. Because she's like, it's Katie, you know? Like it's our family. And he's like, I don't care. I'm going to protect my wife. I'm doing it. It's my decision. So because of him, the demon moves over to Katie. So then everything's okay. Katie comes over and she's like, have you been experiencing weird things here? And Christy's all okay. She's fine. She's not possessed anymore. She's like, no. She's like, everything's been good. Why? Katie's like, well, the weird things have been happening at the house lately. She's like, I don't understand. And so that tells you that it worked. The demon got expelled from Christy and went to Katie. So when she leaves Christy's house, they start right here at the beginning of the first movie where she pulls up in the driveway and Mika has the new camera. That's where they start the movie. So it's interesting where this ends. But that's not it. Now we know where Katie went. Now we know what happened. So after Katie kills Mika, she walks her happy ass over to Christy's house with a bloodied shirt. So you know how she force pushed Mika? I swear to God, like, these powers are unbelievable. She has the Darth Vader snapping she has the force choke, but it's not the force choke. It's basically like the breaking the neck. She breaks the husband's neck. She walks in the house. He's sitting there watching TV. She just gets him like this. She like lifts him off the ground and goes like this, and he's like. She goes upstairs. Christy has the baby, and she's like, Katie, and Katie just storms into the room and does the force push. And she goes flying again. I swear to God, that force push thing is cool. She uses it on Mika. She does it to Christy, and I guess Christy's dead. The force push killed her. Katie grabs the baby, and they walk off. They leave. So at this point, Katie is still possessed and walks off with Hunter. So it says at the end of this that Allie, the stepdaughter, she comes home and she finds the bodies of her dad and then Christy. So at this point, you know, they're dead. She's like the only survivor, which she does have a role in Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. But anyway, so that's where it ends. So you get, it's cool that you get a story before the first movie, and then you get a little bit of what happens after, so, to make it kind of a true sequel in a way. So I was really happy that they had that tidbit in there, because I wanted to know what happened to Katie. Like, would she just run off? You know, if they found Mika's dead body, like, what happened? Like, what would she do? So the thing about this movie, they didn't take enough risks. It was the same formula. It's the same thing we've seen, just more cameras. That's what I mean. Getting dragged down the hall, getting possessed, getting bit, doors shutting, you know, things moving, the shadow. It's the same stuff. Okay, that's why I think this was kind of a poor attempt. The first one is definitely better. And when it comes to favorite sequels, a lot of people will say that the third one is their favorite out of the sequels. So, Paranormal Activity 2 is just one of those movies that you can pass on. It's just not very interesting. So, even though, you know, it was successful in the amount of money it made at the box office, but I don't think that makes it a good film, really. Just kind of a lame, weak sequel, so, or prequel, however you want to say it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this review of Paranormal Activity 2. And so, yeah, stay tuned for my next review, because I will be reviewing Paranormal Activity 3. And I have a lot to say on that one. So, hope you're enjoying these reviews. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one.